of people asking here. We'll go Aaron, Kevin, Jerry, Duff, Stan, Mike.
Wow.
Nestor, in that order. But we'll review it. Aaron, you're up.
John Maxco let go. Thoughts on that tough decision and on Andy Molar being promoted and what you see in Andy, and also for Steve, just if you feel comfortable that the team has got what it takes to beat the Steelers going forward.
Tough decision with John. John's a good man and a good coach. We felt like a change there would give us a chance to get better. I know John understands that, and he'll be coaching real quickly in this league. And we appreciate what he did for us, no doubt about it, and he's a good friend. Andy Molar, I know that I'm excited about that. I know the players are excited about it. Andy is a young and upcoming coach. He's a fiery coach. He's a very smart guy. The players really like him. The players are excited about it, and I think it gives us a chance to get better. So I think it makes us a better football team.
That's right now the obstacle to get past. So you thought something able to get past those guys?
Yeah. We're close. We're close. They are what you all said they are. Somebody wrote, right? The gold standard. We're trying. We're trying to be there, and we're close. And they don't take us lightly. So we've got their attention. They make the extra play. That's what championship teams do. We're not there yet. They are. They have that confidence. They have those 2 Super Bowl trophies in the last 5 years, so they have the confidence. Does confidence beget success? Yeah, it does in a lot of situations. They're there. We're not. We got to get there. When we get there, we're going to be more confident. So yeah, I think we're close. Ben Roethlisberger is one of those elite guys. He makes those plays.
Kevin?
Yeah, hi. This is for Ozzie and John, and Steve, if you could comment too. Now that the season's over, can you give us like 1 or 2 specific reasons why you think the offense underperformed at times this year?
Well, I probably commented on this more than anybody, and I hold true. I think you say you want 1 or 2 specific things, but that's not fair. There are a lot of things that come up. But the thing I'm focused on and the process that we have going forward, along with Ozzie and Steve and Dick and really all of our coaches, is to make everything better. But we need to run the ball better. If we run the ball better and we're more physical, that opens up a lot of possibilities from a passing game, play calling, gives guys a chance to make plays across the board. So, if I was going to say one thing, I'd say that'd be the number 1 thing we need to focus on going forward.
You're doing good, Kevin. I like that. I'm telling you. From my perspective, and anytime you talk to a personnel guy, it's always about we gonna get better players. If I provide John with better players, his coaches with better players, then we'll do better on Sunday. So we can get better players.
Should Steve comment on that too, please?
No. No. No better than they did.
Jerry?
Steve, do you have a timeline for a contract extension for John? And knowing how competitive John is, how much will Jim's contract for the 49ers figure into that?
He's squeezing my leg right now. You guys can't see it. John's going to get his contract extension. Dick's been working on it for the last couple weeks, and I'm sure it will take another week or 2 because he's a tough guy to bargain with. So we'll get it.
Squeezes his leg. My hand's not in his pocket.
He'll get his extension. We're pretty happy with him.
All right, Doc?
Ozzie, are you going to be able to re-sign? Do you think you'll be able to re-sign Haloti before, if there is a work stoppage, and how much does the uncertain CBA factor into that decision?
Well, I know John has said this going back to the last owners meeting down in March, that Haloti is a priority, and he is a priority. That's not just John saying it, that's Steve saying it, that's Ozzie saying it, that's Dick saying it. But, there are some issues that we have going forward based on an uncapped year with the potential of going to a cap year that could create some problems in getting a deal done before work stoppage. But I don't think other than maybe preparing for the draft, there's any other thing that has the most importance to me than to bring a player like Haloti, get him under contract. And history within this organization proves that we will do that. When you go up to Ray, to Jonathan, to Ed, we've always demonstrated our abilities that players that perform well get the opportunity to play here for a long time.
Change a little bit. Brett, then Stan, then Mike.
Ozzie, how does the labor uncertainty change your off-season strategy, or does it change the off-season strategy? And do you have to come up with contingency plans based on what the possibilities are?
You know, Dick and I and Pat, and now that the season's over, with John and with Steve, we've been talking about this for at least the last 3 months. What can happen, what may not happen, and how we are going to prepare ourselves for it. But the number one thing, and I think John spoke about it in his press conference, is this is the first time that if there is a work stoppage, that the draft could be held before free agency. And there are a lot of people that have been in this league for a long time have wanted that to happen. Get the opportunity to get into the college pool and see what you can get out of that, and then get into free agency. So with that being in mind, we will concentrate on the draft. Just got back from the East-West game. We'll be heading down to the Senior Bowl, got the combine. So that'll be our main focus this offseason, as well as, working on Baltimore Ravens. That's always the key. Y'all always have to start with your own team first, how we can get those guys better. We can add additional players, but when players get better from year to year, it helps you out.
Stan?
This question is for Steve and Dick. Under the personal conduct, the way that you'd like to have your team operate, do you guys have any problems with Andy Molars' situation where he's had 3 arrests in under 4 years related to alcohol?
Yeah, we're very concerned. All we can do at this stage is see how Andy responds to this, and he's taking the right steps. Obviously, it's a very personal issue. I don't think there's anybody in this room who hasn't been affected by alcohol. That's not a character trait. That's a disease. That's a problem. And as long as he's doing what he is expected to do, then he has our support. The caveat being that it's his last chance, and he knows that. And I don't think he would mind me saying that. He's either going to get it under control, or he's going to spend a lifetime in misery like other people that are affected by that. So we're behind him as long as he earns that trust and continues to earn that trust. But he knows he's one step away from not being a Raven, and then probably not being in the NFL at all.
No, I have nothing to add. I think that's good.
Mike?
John, Ozzie said that he was comfortable with your outline for getting traded. What's in your outline?
Well, there's a process, to trying to improve ourselves, really in all 3 phases, but I think he's referring to the offensive side of the ball, and it's already begun. Cam and I have had extensive meetings. I've had a chance to talk with players. I've had a chance to talk with coaches, every one of our offensive coaches. And I think the way it starts, Mike, is you listen. And I've had a chance to listen to these guys, and it's amazing the amount of information and input you get from guys when you ask. And we got some great people that want to get better. So that's where it started. We'll go to the Senior Bowl this next week. That has to do with the draft. And then next Monday we'll start meeting. And I'll be involved with that, along with the offensive coaches, and we'll rebuild the offense from the ground up. But I don't want to give you the impression I'm going to do it. I mean, Cam drives that, and the offensive coaches drive that. And we've got some I think some really smart, some really good coaches. We've got to go back and take a look at what we do and how we do it, and how we tie our players into it, and how we communicate it, and if we're all on the same page. I mean, you take a look at everything, and really you do that with every phase, Mike. You do it, defensively. We'll do it special teams wise, but I'll have probably the first time this year I'll have a chance to be involved with it on the offensive side from the get-go, and we're excited about that.
Steve, what are the biggest issues in collective bargaining that are concerning to you?
Hi, how are you?
Yeah,
Concerning you, and what are your public statements going to be if this thing, I mean, you had 3 years to think this thing through, and it's gone pretty much where people thought it would go to March. Just some thoughts or some statements to the fans.
About the labor?
Correct.
You know, it doesn't do me any good to be a pessimist. I understand labor management relations. I took courses in college. I get it. My business wasn't union based, so this is my first exposure to it. And you know, we've got some work to do. There's no doubt about it. And you know, I am very limited in what I can say. I want to keep my money. Roger wants to take my money. So I really do have to be careful with what I say, but it doesn't do me any good not to be optimistic. I know how intelligent and committed our group that's representing our side. I know how intelligent they are. I know how committed they are to getting a deal done. We've got someone, Dominique Foxworth here, who I think if any of you know how intelligent he is, and if he just one of the many guys on their side. So I just have to have hope that a bunch of smart people on both sides of this argument are going to get it done. So I have high hopes. I still believe that we're going to have a full season next year.
Fans have high hopes?
Yeah, I think so. Again, but as I've learned, not everybody is an optimist. So
What makes you optimistic then?
Because when the season's over, I think the rhetoric will actually die down. I think that when we start worrying about college basketball and opening day with the Orioles, and these guys are sitting in their meetings, I don't think it's going to be front and center. I don't think it's going to be front page news. And I think that the quicker we get there, the quicker we're going to get, we're going to make progress. So I think that everybody should just hold out hope that we're going to get things done, and I'm confident that we will.
Pete?
Because of the popularity, though, of the NFL, I think it probably will stay with the front pages a lot longer. Because it's so, and with incredible financial success, what do you say to fans in this time, though, where it is a struggle for most people, and the NFL is doing so well that if there is a lockout, what do you say to them?
What I say to them is that if your business gave you a 50% raise and you and your wife started spending 60% more money, you're not going to be better off. So everybody keeps talking about the health of the league because they keep seeing the revenues go up. They don't know that expenses are rising at a higher rate than those revenues. And we've got to get that right. We've got to get that in check. We have 61 players, and right now the players get 60%, give or take, whatever the numbers that you want to do, and you can argue what they are really after deductions and everything else. But what you all know that the average fan doesn't is, because you get to know these people, we've got 140 employees, not counting the players, not counting the 61 players. So when you talk about the labor being 60%, what is not clear is that labor is more like 80% here. By the time you pay the other 140 employees, and I think you'd be hard-pressed to find any industry that has labor costs of 80%. It just doesn't happen. So the health of the league, by definition, by your definition, is the revenues keep going up. But if expenses keep rising at a higher percentage, then if you were a public company, your stock would be going backwards. And that's what we're trying to protect against.
Steve Davis?
I want to ask you a little bit about the passing game. There's been so much chatter about, well, we got Bolden, we got Hushmanzada, we got Stallworth, and all these guys, they had lower numbers than really any of them have ever had in a full season. I'm just curious, Ozzie, you signed them, and Steve, you paid for them, and John, you coached them. Whether or not you look back and say, yeah, we're a little surprised that these guys weren't able to do what they were in the past, and how maybe you can get them to be more productive. I'm certain no one, even though he missed half the year, thought Dante Stallworth, for instance, would have 2 catches. How do you maybe help us rationalize that for the fans who wonder why that is?